Hello and welcome to another exciting RichAlvarez live stream. This is the third one today on this fabulous, well, it was July 23rd and now it's the 24th because, you know, up late. Anyways, what's exciting about this stream, other than other streams where you see a picture or some videos, is because this one. Oh, there we go. I was like, oh, maybe I screwed up. No, in this one, you actually get to see my face. Look, it's me. You're seeing me live. I could have done without some of this neck beard. But, oh, well, hey, it's me. It's my messy game room back here. And the camera's trying to get in focus because there's not enough light. I am, however, joined by...
Hi, me. Hello, it's Chris, but I'm just on voice.
You're hearing the voice and the ghost of Chris Muller.
The ghost.
So, this is my third stream today. We started out on Twitch, as we do sometimes, just messing around. Then we were playing some Sea of Thieves. While I was playing Sea of Thieves, Chris was streaming on his own channel, Fall Guys. And so when we were done with Sea of Thieves, I tried to stream Fall Guys. And I was just kind of re-streaming what Chris was streaming. But now Chris is done with that.
Said, and I see copying us, eh?
Yeah. And now I'm just... but I asked everybody if they wanted me to play more Fall Guys or play something else. Or just have a nice intimate Q&A. And most people said they wanted me to do a nice intimate Q&A. So in the spirit of doing a nice intimate Q&A, here I am, face on camera, doing a Q&A. All right, so Chris, what do you want to talk about?
Well, I guess this is like the pre-stream for tomorrow, because tomorrow, or I guess today, depending on your point of view, at 12 o'clock noon on Saturday, Pacific time, we're going to watch Act 2 of the Super Mario Bros. Movie. So
right, we will be commentating on the second half. We did the first half last weekend. Matt is joining us tomorrow, right?
Yes, I confirmed
or today,
that with him.
Whatever your perspective is. So Matt will be joining us as we commentate on the second half of the Stupid Mario movie. And then who knows, maybe next weekend we'll start Stupid Mario Legacy. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Although, that's what I would want to do next. But anyways, we got AK, we got Killjoy, my sister's in the chat. We got a bunch of people here. Thank you for joining us. Whoa, 24 people in here already. Look at that. It's a good time to be a RichAlvarez fan because I am down to clown at any time these days. So I just want to have a general Q&A. We could talk about Stupid Mario. We could talk about other things. I mean, did you finish Loki, Chris?
I did.
Good.
It was really good.
So we can talk about Loki and how all that pertains to potentially the rest of the Marvel Universe going forward. Or we could talk about how much Space Jam 2 wasn't as good as the original Space Jam. Which, I have to say, I know a lot of people have been dogging on it, but the new Space Jam, it was fun. It wasn't horrible. It was fun. But it was not the revolutionary movie that... And people are like, oh, but yeah, the original Space Jam was kind of revolutionary for the time. And I feel like it still holds up. Unfortunately, A New Legacy, although it is fun, it doesn't have a good... Like, the original Space Jam, it was like... How can I explain this? Like, Michael Jordan at, like, his peak and coming off of his temporary retirement, and that, like, worked its way into the plot of Space Jam, and just to see him interacting with the tunes in that way, and, like, it wasn't like Michael Jordan needed the tunes to help his needs. The tunes needed Michael Jordan to help them. And that's the big difference, is LeBron James just kind of used the tunes. I don't know, I could go into the philosophy of Space Jam all day, but just believe me, the original film is great, and the new one is just fun. That's all I'm going to say about that.
I have not watched it, so I will add it to my list.
You should watch it. I don't know if you were as big on Space Jam as I was back in the day.
Well, I really liked the original. I mean, it was a big deal when it first came out. So.
Right, but I think it's a great movie. I would go as far as to say the first one is a great movie, but I'm a nostalgia baby, so...
Yeah. By the way, I saw that Christine said, can we talk about various cheeses?
We can talk about various cheeses. Right now, my favorite is pepper jack, and has been pepper jack for a long time. I am still partial to cheddar.
It looks like AK agrees with you, because AK said I liked pepper jack before you did, but I know that you've always been a pepper jack fan. So
I'm a big pepper jack.
Great minds cheese alike.
Although I think on most hamburgers, American cheese is best. but only on hamburgers. I feel like American cheese is almost terrible on anything that isn't a hamburger. Unless it's animal style fries at an In-N-Out. But
That is pretty tasty.
but of course they only put American cheese on animal style fries. If they put pepper jack cheese on animal style fries, it would be amazing.
Future stream idea. Richie eats every single food that he loves.
And then I die by the end.
I was actually joking about that in the chat when you guys were doing a Twitch stream last time. There's been these really popular YouTube videos, Rich, where people will do a tier ranking of a whole bunch of different foods. I think I mentioned that to you, but it doesn't seem like it would be that interesting, but it's so interesting. Oh, there we go. AK said it. Cheese tier list when. So Rich, we'll buy 10 different kinds of cheese, and then you'll rank them all. In fact,
we have to get pepper jack on the S tier, and then cheddar on the A tier, and then on the C tier we have American and Swiss, and then on the D tier we have like provolone and other stuff that's kind of eh. And then,
I guess I would never eat it by itself, but it is good on pizza.
And then on the F tier, we got like blue cheese and other BS.
I'm glad we agree with blue cheese being F tier, because like nobody likes blue cheese except, I don't know,
people that love salads.
Ugh. But yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
All right, boom. Yeah, exactly. AK's like, provolone is D tier. Yeah, we gotta bump provolone up a bit. What? I
mean, provolone can be good on like a grilled chicken sandwich, maybe, but that's about it.
Is provolone the main cheese in pizza?
No, that's mozzarella. I forgot about mozzarella.
Right.
Mozzarella is also S tier, by the way. It's right up there with pepper jack. Thank
you. I always mix up those two.
How, Chris? You're Italian. How could you forget that mozzarella goes on a pizza? Shame on you.
I'm gonna blame 4 hours of Fall Guys streaming with no breaks. It made my mind fuzzy.
See, this is why his mom gives him sideways glances whenever he dips his pizza in ranch. She's like, what are you doing?
Hey, that is an East Coast versus West Coast thing. And for the record, Rich, you're the one that got me into that. So if anything, you're to blame.
You know what? Fair. But still, I know that mozzarella goes on a pizza. But I've also baked my own pizzas. I don't know.
Oh my god.
All right, now that we got cheeses of the world out of the way.
Burgers, Rich. Let's do burger tier ranking of fast foods.
I
watch people do this. So here's the ones on the list. Obviously, you got your McDonald's, your Carl's Jr., your Burger King, but we've also got In-N-Out. We've got Five Guys, Jack in the Box.
Yeah, there's a lot of great burger places, and I'll probably forget most of them now, but I would say as far as quality burger goes, I'm gonna put what's Habit Burger? I'm gonna put that. That's probably
is that fast food, or is that closer to diner?
I would say that might be closer to diner, and if we're including all takeout burgers, I would say that Habit and Red Robin burgers are probably S tier for me. Whenever I want to go out and get a burger, it's going to be one of those two. A-list would be like In-N-Out and Five Guys.
Yeah, totally 100% agree on that.
B-list would be, for me personally, Wendy's and Carl's, personally. C-list
That's where we get to our McDonald's and Burger Kings.
Well, yeah, C-list is going to be Burger King and Sonic's. And then on the D-list, I would not eat McDonald's burgers unless I had no other choice. D-list, I'm going to put McDonald's because here's the thing. McDonald's, of course, is reliable, right? You go to McDonald's anywhere in the world, and they're basically going to be the same stupid burger. That in itself is kind of fascinating, right? They've got a huge empire thanks to Mr. Kroc, who stole the idea from the McDonald's brothers. And by the way, if you've never seen The Founder, watch The Founder. It's a very eye-opening movie. Michael Keaton plays the founder of the McDonald's franchise, who stole it from the McDonald's brothers.
Oh, interesting. I guess I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Well, since this is a live Q&A, I guess we should see if there are any questions the fans have. So, chat, what do you guys want to chat about? Or rather, what questions do you want answered? It could be about food, it could be about Super Mario Bros., it could be about obscure Marvel references in the most recent Loki show. Really, it could be whatever you guys want.
Yeah.
And we'll just wait for the... Oh, there we go. Tim Robb said, how about a SMB characters tier list? I don't know if you guys saw it, but there was a joke that Darkness was S tier, and then Archie made like an S plus tier where Johnny Cyclops was like more powerful than the Darkness on the power level. I got a real kick out of that.
I mean, that's hilarious, but not true. Radical XP just super chatted and says, hey, I know you get a lot, but I'm a big fan of you both. You guys inspired me to write my own series. I admit I haven't been active, but I'm back. Love you guys. And we love you too, Radical XP. That is awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Radical. That was very generous of you.
Do you have any things you want us to talk about, though? That's our big thing. Tier list, I mean, we got so many characters. All I'll say is that the only, as far as I'm concerned, the only S tier character for me is going to be the Darkness. And I know that he doesn't always seem the most powerful, but he's the only consistent person that dies and comes back and has wacko magic. I mean, and I know it's mostly just because I kept riding him back in because I was like, oh, I know we killed the Darkness for the 5th time, but gotta bring him back because it's the only character I enjoy playing. But
I mean, he was also a fan favorite too.
Oh, of course, but he's definitely S tier. A tier would be like Merlin, Nox Decius, the Wizard Bros, Super Wizard Bros, as Julian used to say. Probably.
Mario probably has to be in there.
I mean, the funny thing is, Mario and Luigi are sometimes on the A tier, depending on how lazy they are in any given episode. Because they can either be A tier or they're F tier, depending. In the Quest for Rent, they're definitely F tier. Let's eat. Let's sleep. But yeah, definitely Merlin, Nox Decius, Ganondorf. Whatever Garrett's name was in Stupid Mario Legacy.
Oh, jeez, I don't even remember.
All the different versions. Well, you know what? He's not here to tell us, so I guess he snooze, you lose. That sort of stuff. Maybe Bowser. Now, Bowser would be more B-list. B-list. B-list is basically I would say, Bowser, Peach, Daisy, the Pokemon Bros, pretty much all the main characters are all B-list. And we have to put them all at B-list because if they were higher than that, then the bad guys wouldn't be as tough to beat. The bad guys are always like A or S tier, and that's why it's always a struggle. So Wario, Waluigi, and the Mario Brothers for the most part, I would put them all on B-list. But like when Mario gets Fire Flower power, or when Luigi turns into Mr. L, they're definitely A-list. So it's really a fluctuating thing with them. And then C-list, that's where Johnny Cyclops really begins. Because, what does the guy do? He transports our characters to a grocery store for iced tea.
Does anybody else in the whole Mario universe have the power to teleport back and forth like that?
No, but he uses it for ridiculousness.
He's the Tom Bombadil.
I feel like Mario Bros. The funny thing is, the more I think about it, the more I feel like, unfortunately, we kind of wasted. I mean, Johnny Cyclops, it was a gag, right? It was a joke. He wasn't supposed to be a serious character. People fell in love with the character, because he was so silly. But I wish that I had brought Johnny Cyclops back because I would have wanted to, bring it, if anybody's familiar with Star Trek and Q, the way that Q is kind of like this godlike character that just messes with Picard, getting super Star Trek here. I feel like that's kind of what Johnny Cyclops is. He just kind of pops in and kind of messes with people's day unconsequentially, so it would have been nice to have more episodes later in the series where Johnny Cyclops came and teleported Mario to the desert and left him there when people need him, and stuff like that. If only I could go back and do more, but
we got.
Oh yes, how about no, Mr. Puzzler would definitely F list. If there's an X list, he would be on that.
Yeah. Do we want to? Oh, there we go. AK said Yoshi is S tier. I'm not biased. Very nice, AK.
I mean, he's whatever you want.
Oh, Jack is asking, what's DK? Donkey Kong.
I don't know. I'm gonna put him on B tier with everyone else, basically. He's cool.
B tier. That sounds slightly above average. Oh, we actually got a really interesting question from Super Mario. They said, since you've been on the platform as far back as video responses and ratings still being features, what legacy YouTube feature would you bring back if you were given the chance?
That is a really interesting question.
I mean, I liked old school annotations. Now, I know you can still do cards and the modern day click stuff, but I liked the OG annotations because it made interactive.
I really like annotations. I'm not sure why they got rid of him and had to change him, because so many of
friendly.
It wasn't because, I mean, like, you think about Matt, Chad, and Rob, and, like, you know, the people that inspired us for, like, the interactive adventures, like, all those videos are, you know, things don't work the same anymore. I would also bring back annotations.
Yeah. Good question. React videos would be fun, too. Anyway, next up, Angelina asked, how did we come up with Nox Decius? Now, the funny thing is, do you want me to handle this one, or do you want to handle this one?
No, it's a simple answer. So, you know, back in high school, Chris and I were making, like, Arthur projects, and we came up with the, you know, we had this gag, and mostly we were just making these videos for ourselves, you know, but, like, we had our King Arthur parodies, and eventually we came up with this character called Nakakago.
Yep, you remember.
And, and it was basically Nox Decius. It was Chris in the costume, basically playing not what would become Nox Decius. But, of course, those videos didn't go anywhere, and, you know, that's not what became popular on YouTube. So when Stupid Mario Brothers became popular, it was during the second season, and this is, of course, before we thought of bringing Merlin in, before we thought of the darkness. We were like, okay, the Mario Brothers have to have a bad guy to fight. And at the time, we thought it would be too hard to do a Bowser, because at that time we were thinking, oh, if we bring in Bowser, he's going to have to be CG to really do. We hadn't thought of doing like the man Bowser thing that we thought of for the movie yet. So we were like, we have to have an original villain. And so I was like, I don't know, it's somewhere where I was like, you know, it'd be funniest if we brought your Nakakago bad guy in. And then we looked up Latin names, and Nox Decius.
It was Dark Emperor. I'm pretty sure.
In Latin, it means Dark Emperor, and we loved that. So we just brought in Nakakago, but changed his name to Nox Decius, and then built this lore around the character that he was the brother of Merlin, and so on and so forth. And, well, you know, it all took off from there. But yeah, it was a means to an end to have a strong villain in the second season.
And Rich and I became friends and bonded when we were taking an English class together about King Arthur literature and made King Arthur videos. So there was already a love of Arthurian literature, and we wanted to blend some of that in Stupid Mario Bros. And the other thing you guys have to remember is that in the mid-2000s, fan fiction was very popular in the video game realm, especially with Nintendo, where people would write their own, basically create their own characters, and they'd write it on like old school like Nintendo forums, you know. So there was already like a meta for like fan created characters, so that's why we were kind of writing off of our King Arthur literature, the fan fiction meta, and kind of made our own stuff with, you know, Nox Decius, the Darkness, which was basically our own spin on Shadow Mario. So anyway, long story short, we had a lot of fun.
Right, yeah. Angelina says, what was the most difficult episode to make? I mean, probably episode 75.
The last one?
Because...
it was so long.
Yeah, it was like, what, an hour and a half episode, and we had, you know, pirates and ninjas, and trying to coordinate everybody for that. It was a huge pain. Huge pain. I mean, we've had other big shows. I think, like... You know, we've had, you know, stuff like Fallout Elwood, but, like, by that time we kind of knew how to deal with big set pieces, sort of. So, I mean, I don't think there was anything as overwhelming, maybe, as episode 75 of Stupid Mario, when we had, like, 30 people there and, like, just trying to, like, wrangle them to do stuff, you know? And that's why the Pirates and Ninjas, there's so many shots in the episode of them just goofing around and doing silly stuff, because... I didn't have a whole lot of film of them doing what I wanted, so I ended up just using the shots of them goofing around. Because we had like we had Wario fighting Nox Decius in the middle of this like pirate and ninja conga line, and I was like, oh well, we're not going to get this better. So
Yeah.
So
Okay. We got a bunch of other questions. I want to try and get all these.
A lot of people are complaining that we're missing their questions, Chris. So, it might be the time. We have 37 people watching, so now might be the time to remind them about Super Chats in case they're getting pissed off.
If you want to... If you want to guarantee we'll read your question, of course we have Super Chats open, but I wanted to go through a few of these quickly. Jack asked, favorite Johnny Mushroom in the Kingdom song? I used to say Gangnam Style, but after rewatching the Mario movie, I think it might be the Head Over Heels. What about you, Rich?
I love the Head Over Heels. That's probably my favorite too. And I was reminded of it the other day when we were watching it.
Yeah.
Canner Ake says, why is there no Mortal Kombat versus Stupid Mario collaboration? When we were doing season 4, and that's really the season where we started really expanding into other stuff. We had other stuff from Smash Brothers, but that's the season where we had like Ken and Ryu, and those characters were not in Smash Brothers yet. Although, of course, eventually Ryu would come into Smash Brothers. But as a kid, I was a really big fan of Street Fighter. And, I loved Mortal Kombat 2, but when it came to, because we only had so many friends, we decided to do Ken and Ryu instead of, like, Johnny Cage, for example. I don't know. It's what we decided.
Yeah. Yeah. D-Gal said, Chris, this is for you. What's your favorite Luigi line? Honestly, I don't have a favorite line.
I have one for you. It's, next time, Mario, I'll get you back.
Actually, you know what? I'm officially making that my favorite line. That was a good one. Which I think was based on some inside joke, which might have been, there was an era where you and me and Matt and Doug were playing a lot of Halo and a lot of poker.
Yeah, and I think Matt said it first. He was like, Richie, I'll get you back.
I feel like either somebody lost a hand of poker or lost a Halo game. Anyway, that was good. Michael asked, what was the idea behind Johnny Cyclops? I really think it was just completely made up. I don't think there was any rhyme or reason.
Well, yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Reason? I thought I thought it was literally just, hey, what if we had a guy with a sweater on? And
it was like during the soccer episode or whatever our first sports episode was. I just wanted a lot of.
Maybe did Kent just do that?
No, it was
back?
So it was oh god, Otacon. Was it Brandon? Was his name?
Yeah, Brandon.
He had a Ponderosa sweater with him, and he was like, well, if you want to have people in the crowd watching the sports game, I could just put this on. I was like, well, no, because you've got to be Otacon in the audience or whatever. But then Kent was like, well, and Kent had finished his Link scenes already or whatever, and he was like, well, Link is not here in this scene, and I'll still stick around and put this on. And then he put it on. I was like, yeah, but people can obviously see that you're still Link. And so Kent actually came up with the idea to cover his head except for one eye with the sweater.
Oh, wow.
And then Johnny Cyclops was born. Dan Erickson has donated NOK20, which is some foreign currency, and says, hey, it's going well.
And by the way, I should remember to give a shout out. Dan Erickson is one of our members, along with Darkness the Actor and AK, and I think also Killjoy, and there might have been some other people. But thank you again to our members.
Do we have a least favorite episode, Chris? I saw a couple people asking. Do we have a least favorite episode?
I'm sure there's probably some that I forgot about. But I usually try not to think about the ones I didn't like.
Hey guys, whatever your least favorite episode is, it's my favorite. Or my least favorite.
There we go. Ikram said NKR is Norwegian. Well, hello to our Norwegian friends.
Angelina says, Richie and Chris, in episode 21, what do you think Mario told Link of what Luigi said after Link beat him in the Smash Bros. Game? Now, I don't remember that.
I think it was one of those jokes where you're not supposed to know when somebody was like swearing or saying something
beep,
bad.
Beep, beep.
Yeah, it was something like so. We probably didn't
even
have anything.
There's at least a few. Yeah.
left to your imagination.
There's a few times in the show where I'm just yelling and I'm going like donkey piss donkey dung dot dot dot. I'm just saying a bunch of nonsense, and then I beep beep, beep. I censor it to make it sound like what I'm saying is a lot worse. It's a really easy gag.
That's pretty good. A little bit earlier in the chat, JTman620 said that they found us on Flipnote because of Hey, Now You're a Plumber. And I always thought that was interesting. The Flipnote, of course, was that Nintendo DS game where you could do animations. And a lot of people made animations of our stuff. And a ton of people discovered us that way. So thanks for remembering Flipnote. That was good times.
I remember a lot of people coming off the Flipnote Hatina.
It was good times. It was a different era.
And some people were like, did you guys copy the Flipnote Hatina guy? It's like, no, he ripped us off. But we love him for spreading the word. Noah Fink just super chatted $10 and says, I still want to know something. If they were given a rematch, who would win, Nox or Darkness?
Well, what happened in 75? We both killed each other because the idea was they were equals, right?
Right, yeah.
Rich would probably say Darkness now, though.
But guess who came back after that?
This is true. Darkness came back. Nox Decius didn't.
The Darkness, that's the funny thing about the Darkness is he kind of just clings to existence through various ways. But you have to remember, it's like the excuse that I've always used. Like, the Darkness is not a living being. He's an ethereal being. Like, Nox Decius was once a real man, right? He was born of who was Merlin and Decius' dad?
It was Arcane something.
Arcanium. They were born of Arcanium. They were men who were wizards, and therefore using their dark magic, they were able to live extraordinarily long lives, But with the Darkness, he is just pure dark magic. And therefore he can find loopholes in reality to become a thing or a spirit or whatever you want to call it. And therefore the Darkness, the last time we saw the Darkness was in Stupid Mario Legacy, a great movie if you've never seen it. I feel like I always have to remind people because people are like, oh man, whatever happened to Stupid Mario Brothers? I'm like, well, there was Stupid Mario World, and then there was The Plumber Knight Returns, and then there was Stupid Mario Legacy, which put a nice bow on it. So, some people don't know that.
Multiple times. The movie feels like an ending. Episode 75 feels like an ending. Plumber Knight feels like an ending, and then of course, whatchamacallit.
Stupid Mario World's the only thing that doesn't have an ending. Mario
Legacy ended it, didn't it?
Well, Legacy ended, but I'm just saying you were right. Stupid Mario Brothers had an ending. The original movie had an ending. Plumber Knight Returns pretty much had an ending. Stupid Mario World did not have an ending because it was the last show we made where we knew we were going to continue it in Legacy. So it didn't really have an ending. Super Mario 64 ZX353 super chatted and says 2 questions. What are some of the most notable moments in the SMB series, production/story? And 2, favorite OG YouTube channel content creator?
Wow, good questions.
I will answer the second one first. I was a really big fan of both.
You liked? Sorry, I was going to.
I was a big fan of Smosh. I knew Smosh in real life, so I was a big fan of them back when it was actually Ian and Anthony before drama. But my favorite YouTuber now is probably Mr. Sunday Movies. I do appreciate Dunkey a lot as well. And I watch a lot of weird stuff on YouTube. I watch like Trek culture and stuff, some really nerdy stuff.
There was
what about you, Chris?
Yeah, the favorite OG YouTubers is tough. I think back and I remember really, really old stuff. We were watching like Chad Vader, and then Snowman Hunters,
Ray
and
William
Martin
Johnson.
Those were like really old. Then slightly less old would be like Ray William Johnson, Kasim G, Philip DeFranco. Philip DeFranco's still around.
We have a few great personal memories with Kasim G actually from our videos.
We interviewed him a few years in a row at VidCon. But anyway, yeah, if I had to pick one, honestly, I would have to say Smosh. Well, Smosh or Bratz and Bretta.
Oh yeah, Bratz and Bretta.
I think I would probably say Smosh just because I really looked up to them and I saw them as the YouTube channel that I wanted to be.
Gotcha.
And then,
Or the first question, what are some of our most notable moments in the series? I would say, again, episode 75, the whole thing. The movie was great. And Legacy was great. It was all great. I don't want to go into too many details because I'm sure we'll be talking a lot about this tomorrow when we're talking about the movie. But yeah, pretty much that.
Yeah, I would say one of my favorite memories was I remember when Rich and I were writing season 2. Rich called me up and we sat down and we wrote out episode 16 through 30. And I remember we were filling in like, okay, episode 25 or whatever, they need to meet Nox for the first time. Episode 30 has to be the big fight. The numbers might not be correct, but I just remember having a lot of fun. It was summer break, and Rich and I were just very slowly like fleshing out the system of the season. It was very fun. Anyway, we have a few more.
Yeah, DJ Lasers has super chatted and says Darkness versus Nox was one of my favorite fights in SMP. Do either of you have specific battle scenes you enjoyed filming the most? I think that was one of them. I know we've talked about like Wario versus Darkness. There was also Mr. L versus Mario. I mean, I had a lot of fun filming all those battle scenes, but probably, I think, at least as far as episode 75 goes, I think Nox versus Darkness felt the most fulfilling to me because we'd kind of been building that up the whole season of, like, Darkness and Nox kind of being at ends with each other. So, I don't know. I'm going to say that.
That was a good one. Honestly, I really also liked the first Mario vs. Nox fight in episode 30, so the end of season 2. I remember we watched a bunch of Metal Gear Solid 4 clips, and that was a fun one. Good question, though.
We got a lot of questions in chat. In fact, I'm sorry, DG AL821, he was quite upset that he said we were ignoring his questions. Like I said, especially that we have 43 people watching now. We got a lot of questions coming in, so I'm gonna let Chris dictate how that should go.
Yeah, we'll try and catch as many as we can. I'm just scrolling up to see what they said. Yeah, ask your question again, because the chat's going by real quick. Logan asked a nice, easy one. Pineapple on pizza or no?
I like ham and pineapple pizza or Canadian bacon and pineapple on a nice red sauce with mozzarella. But I don't really care for pineapple on pizza if it's with like olive and pepperoni. Some people are really into that, but it's got to be if it's a Hawaiian pizza, ham and pineapple, then I'll dig it.
I have a Hawaiian pizza on ham and pineapple if I've been eating pizza like all day and I'm kind of like burned out on pepperoni and combo. It's like my third go-to.
I know Chris has always been partial to just the plain ass pepperoni, but
plain ass, but classic legacy.
I'm a really big fan of Italian sausage, olive, and bell pepper on my pizza these days.
That sounds tasty.
That's how we do it here.
So, let's see here. Angelina asked a good one about what was the funniest episode. I think the funniest episode, in my opinion, was episode 22 when we first introduced Scott as Scott Masterson, just because he was yelling at everybody.
I mean, anything with Scott is my favorite because I always think of anger issues with Scott, which isn't technically a stupid Mario video, but I just love, F you and your whole family.
That was so bad. I remember he felt bad about that because he like looked over his shoulder. He's like, I hope your parents didn't hear that.
You see, Rich is on board.
Yeah. Supermanco64 asked an interesting question. They said opinions on the Flipnote version of SMB. There was a guy named Anthony who animated SMB and kind of did his own spin on it. I remember watching it and actually really enjoying it. I remember he started having like chipmunk voices at the beginning. Anyway, he's a cool guy. There was probably a missed opportunity for a collaboration there somewhere, but
yeah, I didn't know about it until like it was almost over, I think, or something.
Yeah, he's very, very talented. I followed him on Twitter. I think he's like a professional animator now, but good guy.
Angelina says, do you guys have a favorite horror game? I'm a big fan of the Resident Evil series, even though that series hasn't really been scary in a long time. I did think the newest one, Village, was fantastic, though. Chris, I don't think you really play.
I'm not really into horror games. Just not quite my genre. I mean, the Resident Evil story is pretty cool, but I never really got into it.
I mean, there's like, there's like, I will say this, just like horror films, most horror games are bad. But sometimes you get some good ones in there, like, the first few Silent Hill games, the Resident Evil series, most of the time. There are some really great horror games, but a lot of them are bad. I mean, that's all I'm going to say. I won't go into too many details, but I mean, as you guys probably know, my favorite genre is role-playing. I love me some Final Fantasy, some Elder Scrolls, especially Skyrim. We were just talking about we were playing with a person. We were playing with I don't know if you'll see this when you watch the stream later, maybe, Chris, but we accidentally left the party open on Sea of Thieves, so we were playing with a random girl named Gigi on our crew.
Was she on voice chat?
Yeah, she was on voice.
Was she cool?
Yeah, she was really cool. She was actually really cool. But we asked her, what else she plays, and I don't remember how it came up, but like she had never played Skyrim, and we were kind of, on her ass for that. Or just like, what do you mean you never played Skyrim? She's like, oh, I don't know. Anyways.
Well, I feel awkward because I've never played Skyrim.
Well, I know you haven't, but I know you also play a lot of other games, though, so that's fine. I played Skyrim, so you don't have to.
That's funny. I saw Radical just headed out. Good night, Radical. Thanks for joining us. I mean, there's so many games out. I have a few that I like that I play too much. Fall Guys, case in point. Kaner was asking about Evil Ryu. I would say there's a lot of characters that we could have done an evil version of, and if you think about it, Darkness is kind of like an evil shadow version of Mario.
DG AL821 says, okay, I'm done with you ignoring my questions.
We asked you to put your question back in chat. Oh, I see what they said. AMW KFC combination. Know what that's from.
Well, that's from Super Mario Drive-Thru.
There we go.
KFC A&W combination. It's a combination of the KFC and A&W. Whatever I said in that old ass video.
Oh, goodness. Angelina said, Richie and Chris, what's the most nostalgic video game? Video game or movie? Jeez. Well, let's just say video games.
I mean, obviously for me, Chrono Trigger. I talk about it all the time. Movies, probably Jurassic Park. That lives in my brain.
For me, I would say Banjo-Kazooie. For video games. For movies, I'm actually going to say Lord of the Rings. Even though I was already older when it came out, now it feels very nostalgic. Dino Hart wants to know your thoughts on Final Fantasy XIV, Rich.
I mean, I played Final Fantasy XIV when it first came out, when it was terrible, and then I played it again when they revamped it and it was better. And I played it for like 6 months. And then I played it again maybe last year for a little bit, and I was trying to get other people on that, and it didn't work out. I would say, and then I also played WoW a little bit I think it was earlier this year or maybe late last year.
Retail WoW, might I add.
Yeah, of course, retail. I'm
a classic Andy.
I would say I don't really have I know that people are like battling it out for some reason over the two. I mean, there's a lot of MMOs out there. You don't have to choose one or two of them. I would say that for the most part, my opinion on MMOs in general is just MMOs can be a lot of fun, but I would much rather play either a fantastic single player experience like your Breath of the Wilds or your Skyrims that I can pick up and play whenever I want and not feel obligated into something and enjoy an incredible journey and story while unlocking all my treasures and everything. And again, not feel like put in a box, When I'm playing an MMO, I feel like I'm kind of put in a box and I have to be on a schedule and like do things with everyone else, and it's very intimidating. Not that I don't have fun with them, but I think I've had fun with WoW. I've had fun with Final Fantasy XIV. They're kind of the same to me, to be honest. That's it.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what else we got. And sorry, by the way, guys, if we're not catching every question. Dodo asked a good one. Thoughts on the Steam Deck?
Steam
You know
Deck?
the Steam Deck?
Oh, the little like
this is
peripheral.
it's the Switch. The Switch. I was gonna say knockoff, but it looks like a Switch, but it's Steam. You can play all your Steam games on the handheld. You know.
Just like everything else that Steam has done outside of just doing their PC gaming, it's not gonna last.
It'll be interesting to see if it takes off. Personally, I wasn't that excited about it because I already have a Switch and I have a PC, but I have some friends that just like really got excited.
DGAL821. This is the last, because you're complaining so much, this is the last question of yours I will answer. But he says, what is the best episode you've made? And I'm just going to say episode 75.
Yeah. I think it's hard to top 75. And I did want to remind you guys, I know we've got a lot of rules in the chat, but please keep in mind rule number 8.
Which is what?
No begging for attention. Also, I think we have another one in there. Oh, yeah. Rule number 6, no complaining if we don't read your chat.
Ooh.
You're on notice. That's
on notice.
Specific rule.
Dude, you know, somebody was saying this earlier. Actually, I think it was Andy during your stream. But he was saying that we got to have sound effects, you know? So, like, when we're like, you're on notice, we have to have, like, a... like, on notice with, like, a graphic.
That'd be awesome, which we could do with the sound card. I wanted to shout out JoJo's ASMR. I remember they were popping in, I think, to some of your Minecraft streams.
Hey!
Welcome, JoJo. And JoJo's, I know, part of our Discord, too. So, Rich, do we have any experience playing trading card games like Pokemon or Magic the Gathering?
Hold on.
Give me
one second. Let me get something.
Great question, JoJo. Great question.
So...
I'll start. Yeah, I'll...
on the table over there, I don't know if you can see, I just bought a bunch of new packs of the new Magic the Gathering set that just came out today. And by the way, to further answer your question, I've been playing Magic I played a lot of Magic the Gathering in middle school ages ago, and then I kind of picked it back up just a few years ago. But the new Magic the Gathering set that just came out today, really, which is Forgotten Realms, is all based on Dungeons & Dragons. So it's this really cool collaboration. The new set is all Dungeons & Dragons heroes and monsters. And so, like, for example... we have the Tiamat. I forget the camera, so I'm putting in front of the speaker. The camera's up here. I don't know how well you can see it. This is the Tiamat. It's a 5-headed dragon. I know it's kind of crappy. It's a rare. You can see the little silver thing there. I bought a few packs, and I actually put this one in a sleeve immediately because this one was $30 before the set even came out, and by tomorrow, this might be a $200 card. So I'm kind of saving it. Anyway, so yes, to answer your question, I'm very much into Magic the Gathering. We don't play it so much anymore, which is kind of ridiculous. We used to play it all the time. But me and my roommate, Corey, we just keep collecting the cards because we're lame like that, you know. But, you know, someday we might play again. But anyways, yeah. And then also I've played a lot of Pokemon. I've got some sets of Pokemon trading cards. You know, I'm a nerd. I collect a lot of stuff. I've got a bookshelf over there full of Star Wars figurines and stuff, you know. Hey, anyways, next question.
There was a really interesting one that got my attention, and it was Today Tomorrow said, also, follow-up question. I was actually around way back on the SMB forum days and was sort of wondering if it's still up and running. So, is it running? Well, nobody's there. Does it exist? Yes, it does. And I just put the link in the chat. It got bought out by a new website, but literally every post is still there. You can actually still sign on to your old account. I did, and I posted something there last year after the website was dead for like 7 years. But it does exist. However...
Wait, are you talking about the old Stupid Mario forums?
The ones that Adam Admin started, they still exist.
We do have a Discord, by the way.
Yes, and that was the next thing I was going to say, but if you want to know where like the community actually is, it's hanging out at the Discord. But if you want to see a time machine back to like 2008 to 2010, I last year when I had a lot of extra free time when the shutdown was at its peak, I spent a whole day going down the rabbit hole, and it was a trip seeing people comment on that stuff.
No. Today, tomorrow, do not jump back on the forums. They're dead. Please join us on the new Discord.
You can think of the Discord as an active community. The fan forum is a museum.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay, anybody have any other impertinent questions they must ask? Because it is already almost 1 a.m. and Chris and I do have to stream in the morning tomorrow.
That's true.
So
Yeah, all right, get your final questions in now, guys. And again, we're not promising to read everything. We're just picking ones that we think are interesting and will kind of help with the flow of the stream.
I give it 5 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, Pluip said, do you think there will ever be a SMB series collection in a physical copy? So there won't be for copyright reasons. However, years ago, there's almost like a holy grail. Rich made a DVD of season 1 that I don't know where it is. There's a tiny, tiny chance I might have it like in the back of my closet, but I hope I could find it because I could re-upload like true 480p SMB season 1.
Right, yeah.
Anyway, see anything else interesting in there you want to
Darkness the Actor says, vodka or tequila? Depends. Vodka if it's just vodka, but tequila in a margarita, I guess, you know?
Oh, goodness. Oh, man. They ask what we think about Markiplier. I've only watched a couple of his videos.
I've never watched a Markiplier video.
Yeah, I know he's really talented. I just never, like, super got into him. I watched him when he was complaining about YouTube, like, banning his fans.
The only thing I know...
I thought it was really interesting because YouTube did some sketchy stuff.
The only thing I know about Markiplier is what Matt Pat tells me on Game Theory. And I do watch Game Theory, like, religiously. I watch him all the time.
Yeah.
Let's see. A Xehanort says, if Nintendo hired you for a live-action Mario movie, would you guys work on it? I mean, we would because they would have hired us for it. So you've answered your own question.
That'd be awesome.
Noah Fink just super chatted and says, do you guys like to play Dungeons & Dragons? If so, what is your favorite class in the game? Yeah, I mean, I was, that was another thing. Before I met Chris, I was really into Dungeons & Dragons in, like, late middle school, early high school, and I have played a few games. You know, guys know my roommate Brandon. He hosts a few dungeons with some of his high school friends, like, once a month. He goes out and does stuff, and sometimes he's done other games. I really like to play just, you know, regular warrior class, although I have played a wizard a couple of times. I'm really into the lore. I actually have become quite a fan of Dungeons & Dragons games that actually take place in the world and the lore of Dungeons & Dragons. Like, I respect people that make up their own worlds. I've hosted a couple games where I've made up my own world. But, like, Cholt, Barovia, you know, like, the worlds of D&D. I love that stuff. I love the lore of D&D. Sorry, long question.
Jojo asked actually a really interesting question, and he said, have either of you ever done something regrettable at a Christmas party? I constantly hear this joke about a character blackmailing another about something they did. Well, here's what I thought. I thought that this was a reference to SpongeBob, because in the episode where SpongeBob wants to see what's in Patrick's secret box, he makes a joke. He's worried the worst thing that it could be is a picture of him doing something embarrassing at a Christmas party, and then at the end, that's what it actually is. So,
you know, I mean,
it's almost like a meme. Like, I know SpongeBob made the joke, but I feel like other cartoons have made that joke.
Well, were they talking about us specifically, how we always joke about the Christmas party? Because I always felt like we were just referencing our own Christmas party videos, you know, like, oh, the Christmas party, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, the funny thing is, as much as we loved making those Christmas party videos, you know, we always spent Christmases with our own families, you know. I mean, I don't think we ever actually spent a Christmas together. Actually, that's not entirely true. There was one, there was one Christmas where Julian showed up at my parents' house and was like, hey, guys, can I crash? And I was like, okay. And my parents were like, But it was fine, you know.
Because I was hanging out with Christine the other day, and she was like, come on, Julian's practically family. He hung out with us on Christmas. So there you go.
Yeah, sure. All right. Let's see. Anything else, Chris?
I think we pretty much got all the pertinent ones.
Yeah.
We could probably wind down. I mean, we're going to be streaming again tomorrow.
I'm going to answer this one last thing. Biz
that is a good
Jr.
way to end it.
It says, quick question, what drives you to keep doing YouTube? Total insanity. And the fact that I don't have anything else to do.
I feel the same way.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's about it. Tomorrow, or today, depending on how you look at it, in exactly, 11 hours, we will be back here with Act 2 of the movie, doing the second half of our commentary we started last weekend. And we will be joined by one Matthew Thomas Provenzel. And he'll, I hate to use my middle... Actually, I'll just say Matt Provenzel because he hates to use his middle name, so...
All right, yeah. I was going to make a joke about it, but I'll joke to Matt's face, not behind his back, so I'll tease him about it tomorrow.
All right, so we'll see you guys tomorrow for that. And then let us know while we're doing that what you want us to do the following week or whatever. Anyways, I'm Rich Alvarez.
Chris Muller.
And we will see you guys later today.
Thanks again for watching, everyone. And